Well, can you believe it? Welcome to season 12 of the ITXP, the only show that is consistently bad at being consistent in recording. But I am consistent in getting at least a few episodes out every year. So welcome to 2026, everyone. My name is Chuck, and if you've never listened to the ITXP before, good. This is going to be a fresh slate for you. I typically talk about the IT industry, the information technology industry, a term that's probably outdated, legacy, traditional, old school. I don't want to rename it because the brand has been around since 2015. Some folks still consider IT as core technology services within an organization. Smaller organizations still call it IT, and that's okay. This show expands on everything within technology, not just IT. The focus is on how traditional IT teams work, how they can leverage different processes and different thought patterns. I try to present myself as a thought leader in this space, but I'm just some guy, to be honest with you. Some guy who's been in this industry for about 30 years. I've seen the ins and outs. I've talked to C-level folks, worked with developers hand in hand, heard their frustrations, worked with the business, with sales teams, heard how technology either hinders their ability to do their job or how it actually enables them. Because ultimately, that's what we're doing. We want to enable the business. We play a significant role in helping the business succeed. And it's been very, very difficult over the past decade to really put value in what IT teams do inside an organization. Mostly because, especially with the advent of the public cloud, developers started saying, well, I could just do this myself. Sure you can, but do you understand how ingress and egress patterns work? What about the guardrails around internal data access? That's where the IT team comes in and partners with you, and that's been forgotten by many developers, by app teams, by startups. I read an article about fintech startups versus traditional banks. Traditional banks continue to outlast fintech startups because they forget about risk and compliance. It's just too expensive for them to prioritize. And I'm seeing that in my own organization right now. So we're here to demonstrate our value, to say, look, we're here to play a big part in your success. We don't want to be blockers. We want to partner and collaborate while still following the guardrails that exist because these organizations are regulated, at least the ones I'm in. And that's what this show is really about, talking through the things that come up in my experience. Now, most of you are probably thinking, Chuck, last year you said you were going to get back to basics and you did like 2 or 3 episodes and an interview. You had plans. And that's true. I did have plans and I still have plans. But those plans don't really revolve around this show specifically. This show is a launching pad to get my creative juices flowing. But I can't get rid of it. I can't. The show is value. Even if it's just for one person, and that person being me is enough. The cost is minimal, $8 a month to Libsyn. They give me what I need, and they've been good to me. No complaints. The return on investment here is technically negative, but the value it brings me is tenfold. It lets me get out my thoughts and maybe help that 1 or 2 people who actually look forward to what I put out. To those of you who keep coming back, thank you. Genuinely. I don't know you, but thank you. If this provides any value to you at all, just say something. Just say, hey, Chuck, I'm here. I'm listening. That's all I need. So, what have I been doing? Most of you may or may not know, if you don't follow me on TikTok, which is my dumping ground for the insane use of technology, especially around social media. Last year, I started Corporate Hardcore. And that's taken off. Taken off in the sense that I have a rhythm going. The stories I put out, the technologies I use, and I'll get to that in a few minutes. And Corporate Hardcore actually had me thinking, with everything going on with AI at the moment, I want to start developing a thesis statement for a potential journey into a doctoral program, a PhD. That's literally what I was thinking about last week and this week too. This is being recorded March 13th, Friday the 13th, 2026. And you're probably thinking, didn't you just get your master's? Yeah, that was 3 years ago. Well, my second master's in 2023. Got my CISSP in 2024. But as I started going down this path, the funding, the schools, what it would actually buy me, I realized that there are other opportunities without sinking hundreds of thousands of dollars into a PhD program. So what am I going to do instead? I'm going to build a leadership series, a series of articles on LinkedIn and also Substack, potentially Reddit, and leverage the work I'm doing on Corporate Hardcore to feed into it. As I get into cadence with that, I may reach out to McKinsey or Gartner to partner up on a series around leadership and the future of leadership, especially with the advent of agentic AI. I already have a framework ready to go, writing the first article now. I should have it posted within a week or two. While corporate hardcore is more satire, this leadership series is something I want to be professional, polished, serious. Because the discussions I'm proposing should open doors to bigger roundtables. I'm not going anywhere with the ITXP, but I think I'll transition and tie a lot of these leadership discussions in here. My organization is deep into agentic AI right now. They're pushing it, providing training series. A lot of people on my team have embraced it because I encouraged it. A lot of people outside my team, not so much. They think they are, but they're not. And people ask, how do you come up with this? Honestly, it's something I've always been thinking about, even before the advent of ChatGPT. So artificial intelligence has been around since the 50s, maybe even before that. Generative AI was just released to the public at the end of 2022. Agentic AI was the next iteration. And the next iteration after that, humanoid robots. So how does that fit into the knowledge worker space? It probably won't, at least not yet. I see humanoid robots as a better fit for the service industry because a lot of the work we do as knowledge workers can be done remotely. There's no need for anyone to physically be in an office for that work. I work in an organization that just increased profits by 9% in a tough year, predominantly done by teams that are fully remote, and they love it. And they're executing. Service industries, robots absolutely have a place there. We saw robots introduced in manufacturing a long time ago. The next evolution is the service industry, and it's already happening. So I went to China in January. Room service was delivered by a little robot, not a humanoid robot, a box. It got on an elevator, called my room, and when I opened the door, I pressed a little button, the drawer opened, and there was my food. I said, thank you, and it went on its way. Robots have a place in service, and it will continue to grow. Now, getting back to corporate hardcore and the leadership series, how did I come about all this? Well, I leverage all the LLMs available to me that I'm willing to pay for. And I've been doing so since ChatGPT launched in 2022. Just like most of you who've been playing with AI, I've evolved. I've evolved on how I build my prompts. I learned by asking the LLMs how to make my prompts more efficient. So you want to know what my current stack is? Well, ChatGPT, that's the primary one my family and I use. Claude, that's my primary LLM for most of my work. Corporate hardcore, the ITXP, leadership series, strategic planning. I also use it to polish emails for C-level and senior leadership. Still in my tone and style, just refined. Now that we have GitHub Copilot at work, I use that for work-specific things. It stays within our ecosystem. I'm also testing out Okara.ai, and actually, as of this recording, I did sign up as a founding member. So I paid one price, and I'm a founding member, and I have Okara until its lifespan is over, right? Whether or not it gets acquired or not, I have it. So Okara is one of those private LLMs using open source. It's a private platform, meaning it's not supposed to train other models, and it uses only open source LLMs. That's what I meant to say. I also checked Conferred.to, which was developed by the folks who built Signal. It's okay, missing a few feature sets, but I figured since Okara had everything that I needed, I just decided to stick to it. Think of Okara like Perplexity. Similar look and feel if you kind of look at it that way. A different type of use case, but similar look and feel. So just seeing what's out there. I haven't purchased Confer.to, but again, as of this recording, I did purchase Okara.ai. If you're so inclined to check it out, go ahead and check it out. I also subscribe to Gemini. I'm a Google One user. So I get Gemini Pro with credits for VO3. I get about 1,000 credits a month, everything under the Google Labs umbrella. I use Gemini in place of search, and it's worked well. I actually use Gemini to plan my trip to China. Give me the best, most optimal routes and timelines and things like that. It actually went out and searched different prices for airlines. So Gemini was actually pretty cool for that. I used that instead of Kayak or Trip.com. I used Gemini, and it actually worked. I did wind up using Trip.com a lot, but that was more for the trips inside of China. And then lastly, I signed up for Grok. I literally just did this a couple of days ago, mostly to help search the Twitter space. And I've actually used Grok to develop images and videos for my last corporate hardcore episode, the one about applying to jobs as a 50-year-old mid-manager. All developed by Grok, images still created in VO, edited in CapCut. But Grok has shown that it's a force to be reckoned with compared to VO, compared to Runway ML, compared to some of the other ones. I'm moving away from Adobe. I just canceled the full Adobe suite. It felt like overkill. I was paying $795 a year, and I pay $59 for CapCut. It does captioning, quick editing, everything I need. I don't need the Adobe suite for what I'm doing right now. It treated me well. Audition, Premiere Pro, it was good. I just can't justify paying $795 for what I do. So to summarize the stack, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok, and 11 Labs. It's almost $150 a month in LLMs, but it's completely worth it. 11 Labs does my audio and dubbing. Works really well. So how do I actually use these models? If you're still just using it as a chatbot, that's great. Start there. But I need you to advance. I need you to think about how you talk to a consultant or how you talk to someone who you've hired to come to your house. That's how you should be talking to these models. You don't just say, I need a new sink. You say, I want a stainless steel, but tell me if there's any better material. Say, I need something easy to clean. How do I dampen the noise? The more precise you are, the better the output you get. You can even use the LLM to create your prompts for you. Just tell it what you want. I tell my team I have 20 different consultants working for me now. I haven't even gotten into the agentic stuff yet. That's next. If you haven't gotten to the point where you're using LLMs as true partners, it's time to start reframing what you actually want out of them. I tell my kids this all the time. My youngest says, it gives me wrong answers anyway. I say, because you're asking generic questions. The reason it's sometimes wrong is because it may not read the question properly. You have to reinforce what you're trying to do. We used to call it prompt engineering. I think they're moving away from that term. Now it's just be better at how you ask the questions. Seriously, just be better at asking questions, bro. Like, just ask the question better. And you'll notice that how you interact with the LLM will actually improve as it actually improves how you communicate with people at work. You'll ask more pointed questions. You'll be less ambiguous. Your emails will even improve. And it's not too late, folks. 2022 is only 3.5 years ago. You haven't lost out on anything. Jump in now. Now, if you're following my corporate hardcore series, the last one about being 50 and looking for a new job while still employed is probably going to resonate with a lot of people. So, what's your next move? How are you going to leverage the tools at your fingertips to move forward? Whether in your career or something you've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to build a video game. Always. But school and corporate America sucked the creativity out of me. Artificial intelligence is bringing it back, to be honest with you. I have this idea I've been pondering since high school. A friend and I built a framework for it, just never knew where to go with it. And I remember at a Fear Factory CD signing, I told them I thought their new album would make a great video game. They said, yeah, we're already talking with Psygnosis. Psygnosis at the time was a video game company. They did, I think, I'm going to say MDK, maybe. But yeah, they were already talking to them. It never happened, right? But I still have the voicemail from their drummer, Ray. He called me back, but he never left a number. I couldn't call him back. I still have the recording. Maybe one day I'll digitize it. I've always wanted to write a book. That's been on the back burner too. I don't want AI to write it for me. I want AI to flesh out ideas and help me ensure good structure. There's the difference. Think of AI as your consultants. They do the legwork. They bring expertise you don't have. Your job is to develop the skill to ask the right questions. And I'm not saying to go sign up for the max plan on Claude. If you can afford a coffee every day, you can afford $20 a month, or save up and buy the annual plan. That way it's done. So reframe your mindset on how you approach these LLMs. That's what I've been doing the past few months since my last episode. Now, getting back to China. I've had the opportunity to spend 12 days there. Really, really exciting trip. Something I will hold forever in my heart. I planned a trip using Gemini, leaving from the New York area. I found out that Air China is allowed to fly over Russian Federation airspace, which makes it the fastest path from New York to Beijing. It's about 15 hours. Air China is actually a solid airline, part of the Star Alliance network. United Flyers, you can earn miles on it. Seats are a little narrower than American carriers, but the service was top-notch. Food was better than normal United food. I didn't sleep much, but the flight was fine overall. Before I get to landing in China, here are some things you need to know. First, you don't need a visa right now, as of March 2026. There's a program called Transit Without Visa, but there's a catch. You can't fly US to China and back to US directly. You need a third country into routing. Hong Kong still counts as a separate entry point under this program. And it's only valid for 240 hours, roughly 10 days. And the clock starts at midnight on the day you land. If you exceed 240 hours, you're in violation. They may never let you back in. So be careful with that. If you want to do a full visa, which I recommend, for me in the New York area, it's super simple. The consulate's right there. You fill out the paperwork online, submit everything, including your photo, white background for the picture. Took me a few times to get it right. A week later, the portal told me to drop off my passport at the consulate. Now, you're like, I got to drop off my passport? Yes. You hand them your passport. I know it's a little scary, but the whole process took under 20 minutes in person. I got a slip, came back a week later, passport was ready. Visa costs $140, valid for 10 years, up to 30 days per stay. I recommend a visa because, and I say this with confidence, most of you are going to fall in love with China and want to go back. So get the visa. Over and over, you're going to want to go back. The country is enormous. There's so much to see. For connectivity, you'll need one of two things: an international plan with your carrier or an eSIM. T-Mobile gives you 5 gigs a day in China. I blew that in an hour. AT&T unlimited carry unlimited data into China, right? So unlimited data carries over into China, $12 a day. That adds up fast for a 10-day trip. So I signed up for Holofly, an eSIM service, and I bought a backup eSIM from Trip.com. For those who don't know, an eSIM is a digital SIM card installed on your phone. Lets you connect to a carrier network without having a physical SIM. So when I landed in Beijing, I enabled the Holofly eSIM. That son of a bitch didn't work. And I'm freaking out. I walk towards immigration on chat support with Holofly, getting increasingly annoyed. So I said, screw it. Enabled the Trip.com eSIM on my iPhone, and it worked flawlessly. Fast connectivity, no problems. Trip.com eSIMs are cheap, they work, and you generally don't need a VPN. I'd filled out all my custom paperwork digitally on my laptop at JFK before the 24 hours before I departed. I downloaded the QR code and transferred it to my Pixel phone. Everything digital, everything on the phone. That's how China works. Now, before you even get on the plane, set up 2 apps, WeChat and Alipay. WeChat is a messaging platform, but it does so much more. Payment services, social, everything. If you block Chinese connectivity at home like I do, because my system allows that, you may need to set it up from a mobile network, which is not your home Wi-Fi. You add a credit card, international cards work, Amex, Chase, Visa, Citi. I also signed up for his Wise international debit card, transferred some money from my bank into it, found it processed payments a lot faster than American Express in China. More on that in a second. Alipay, same setup, but it also has mini programs, train tickets, food ordering, payment. Alipay has built-in translation. There's a button on the screen. Hit it, everything translates. That alone is a game changer. You do not understand. I wanted to go buy milk tea at a mall. Can't read Chinese to save my life. They had a QR code. I scanned it. Boom. The mini app comes up on Alipay. I hit translate. There's everything that I want. I wound up getting fruit tea and milk tea because it's shit. I can just buy whatever I want now because I can read Chinese. I couldn't. It was translated to Chinese. I translated it to English, but Alipay is a game changer. My coworkers and friends in China asked, how come you're using Alipay and not the full Meituan app? And I'm like, Alipay translates shit for me. Like, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to use Google Translate, right? Use Google Gemini and it'll translate for me. No, this is all right there. I don't keep doing it. This is great. It's perfect. So back to my trip to China. Walking through immigration in Beijing, a few checkpoints. The first one is health checkpoint. They scan your body temperature. Then they scan your bags again. Then the actual immigration counter. Now, if you're doing transit without visa, there's a separate immigration counter for that in Beijing, right? So make note of that. Go to the right desk, follow the foreigners, especially the Americans. Most of them are doing transit without visa. I had the visa, so I went to the normal line. Fingerprints, done. If you're worried about giving your fingerprints to the Chinese government, this is probably not the trip for you. Personally, my data is everywhere. My face is everywhere. If they want to clone me, go for it. I'm an asshole. Who would want that? The immigration officer spoke minimal English. I knew xie and ni hao. That was the extent of it. Had my translation app ready. Guy stamped my passport, pointed to the door, and there I was in Beijing. To get out of the airport, I ordered a Didi, which is China's version of Uber. I already had the name of my hotel in Mandarin, and that's the key. When I typed the hotel name in English, it didn't find it. Put it in the Mandarin name, found it immediately. So you have to be careful when you're using these apps. Remember, you're in China. Like, they expect to use Mandarin or Cantonese. So use the language that you're there. Don't be an American guy like me and be like, oh, I want the Hilton. No, it doesn't know what the frig the Hilton is. So you put the Mandarin name in there and it'll find it for you. Trust me. So with Didi, you can actually select multiple car tiers at once. The first driver to accept your ride, you can decline it and go cheaper if you want. I quickly learned that Chinese cars are a lot smaller than American cars. Look, I'm 5'11", 275 pounds at the time. Getting in and out was a whole process, man. It was a whole process. But the apps let you say, don't call me. I don't speak Mandarin. They'll just message you, same as Uber. My last 4 digits on my phone are 3434, which is sanse in Mandarin. Driver gets in and goes, sanse. I had no idea what the hell was happening for a second. Then I realized he's confirming my number. I said, yeah. Except I said it in Spanish. I said, sí, because my brain defaults to Spanish abroad because I was born into a Spanish family, and actually the first language I learned was Spanish. It wasn't English. And sometimes when I'm outside of the United States, it just automatically defaults to Spanish. I don't know why, just how my brain works. Even in Italy, when I was in Italy, it defaulted into Spanish, which caught me a lot of flack with some of the Italians. But nevertheless, I realized that I said wrong, and I was like, oh, dui, which is yes in Mandarin. So it happened a couple times throughout the trip. But this is how my brain works. It may happen to you, especially if you are bilingual or, your first language wasn't English and now you've transitioned to English and things like that. So it was interesting just to understand and see how my brain worked in a foreign country, especially with a language that's completely different from the Romance languages. I would just default to Spanish. It was comical, to say the least. It was comical. So I got to the region in Beijing. It's this 5-star hotel. It's beautiful, maybe $200 a night. And I had the view of a Forbidden City. It was incredible. And if you stick with your international brands, they speak English and you'll be fine. So Regent is part of Intercontinental Hotels Group. So they speak English. So you don't have to worry about that. Now, if you decide to go for a cheaper hotel, in one of these TikTok videos you see, you may have some challenges. Actually, when I went to Xi'an, fortunately for me, I had a coworker with me, and they were able to translate, talk for me, I should say. So it was good. So the first payment issue I had was when I tried to pay for the Didi ride through WeChat with Amex. It took forever. And the driver started staring at me, and I'm gesturing slow, and I'm saying, Make roll ren. I was like, it's an American card. It's slow. I was trying to make a joke out of it. And he just kind of looked at me and was like, shut up, stupid. Pay me this thing. After that, I switched to the Wise debit card every time. Super fast. I use the Wise card for smaller things like Didi rides, food, milk teas, just anything under like maybe $50 that I would normally use cash for. I use that Wise international debit card. Really cool, really convenient. You also get a physical card if you want. You just pay $10 for the physical card. But it's nice to have. I used it last year when I went to Hong Kong. And I stayed over I had a layover in South Korea. And because they don't have Alipay or I didn't have the apps that they use there, I just used that international card and it worked seamlessly. So if you're someone that's like, oh, Chuck, I don't want to put everything on my credit card and need cash, go ahead and look at the Wise debit card. I'm thinking about putting a referral link in my page for this. Don't feel obligated to use it. I just feel like if I'm already kind of quote unquote promoting it, this is not paid advertisement. I just used it. I felt like it was good. This will be the start of me trying to use some affiliate links to at least pay for Libsyn, right? If somebody pays for Libsyn, once a year, perfect. That's perfect. That's great. $8, I'll be happy with that. But I'm going to do it. If you all feel that that's in poor taste, then don't even do it. And if I see no traction, then I'll take it off. I won't do it again. But I hate those affiliate links. But I see why people do it now. And yeah, let's see what happens. So I spent a couple days in Beijing, and then I flew China Eastern to Chongqing. You've probably seen Chongqing all over TikTok. I stayed at the Hilton there, where the little delivery robot was. Everything was through the phone. Alipay has tap to pay. If that doesn't work, QR code on screen, they scan it, or you scan their QR code, type the amount, confirm, done, instant, no friction. Like super efficient, super efficient. The technology in China through your phone is 10 times what we have here. Ordering food, getting cars, buying tourist tickets. I bought tickets to the Great Wall through my app, bought stuff on the train, all through the app. You think Uber is cool? Grubhub? This makes that look basic. I went to Terracotta Warriors in Xi'an, a medium-sized city by Chinese standards. Still completely digital, no cash, nothing, everywhere. And I'm thinking, why can't we do this in America? Then you realize, well, the government subsidizes all of it. The banks, the retailers, the government controls it. And I'm like, do I really want the U.S. government controlling all of that? Because they can't figure their way out of a paper bag. So I kind of get it. But we're getting there. I mean, look, we have Apple Pay, Chase offering QR codes now. It's slow, but we're getting there. So from a technology perspective, I was living my best life because this was the future I envisioned when I was 11 years old. When I told my mom about the trip, she's like, yeah, that's exactly how you said things were going to be when you were a kid. No cash anywhere, not even a Great Wall. Every vendor has a QR code. You scan, money's there instantly. All electric cars. I almost never heard an engine the entire trip. Someone on TikTok said, listen to this, and it was just silence. I didn't even notice it until it was pointed out. The bigger luxury cars, all electric, full recline, massager, captain's chair. That's the world we should be living in. Escalators that stop when no one's using them and start up the moment you approach. Instead of broken escalators running 24/7 in Newark Penn Station. Like, why don't we have this? This is like brain dead stupid. Like escalators, like when they're not in use, hey, stop them. When somebody's approaching, start them. Like, what's the problem? Like, why can't you do that? I don't understand. I checked out Huawei phones. I almost bought one, but then the $1,600 US stopped me. People there love projectors instead of TVs. Good quality, portable. Almost bought one of those too. Went over budget just looking at things. Like I blew my whole budget like just looking at things. If I actually spent money, I would have been done that first hour I was there. So that's how much of the technology I loved, right? Because as a technophile, is like, yeah, this is great. This is awesome. So we all live on our phones now, right? Even a 90-year-old grandmother in China has her phone. So why can't we do this in the US? And no, I'm not doing China propaganda. I'm saying this is the world I envisioned as a kid. And as a technologist, I know we have the infrastructure to do it. So why aren't we there? Why aren't we there yet? Because here, the government doesn't control everything. The corporations do. So if you want this, somebody has to centrally control it. Do you want JP Morgan to control it? Do you trust the U.S. government to do it? Because they can't keep their own systems up to date. So I get it. Look, I genuinely get it, why we don't have it. And here's a tie back to your career. Why do certain things not get done inside organizations? It's either the right team isn't managing it, or there's too much bureaucracy to get work done. In China, the government says to the banks and retailers, makes the lives of our citizens more efficient and comfortable. Implement this, and it gets implemented. In the US, we have the capabilities, but not the governance, not governance to centralize it. We're trying to move that. You see the digital currency conversations. That's where cryptocurrency originated. just digitizing everything. But the fallacy of crypto is that you think you control your money when actually it's all centralized. Oh, it's a decentralized platform. Yeah, but everything's still on the public ledger, right? So it's really centralized. You have to give up privacy if you want centralization. And that works for China because the citizens are used to that. It doesn't work for the US because we want that perception of privacy, even if it's just a perception. So from a technology perspective, I genuinely loved every minute of it. I visited Beijing. I visited Xi'an. I visited Chongqing. I want to go back. I need to go back. I got to see the Terracotta Warriors. It's been on my bucket list since I was a kid. I'll never forget it. I climbed the Great Wall, the Hero's Journey section. It kicked my ass, but I did it. Super fun, memorable, something I'll carry with me forever. So enough about China. Keep an ear out for the leadership series. Keep following Corporate Hardcore. That's continuing to build. Thank you for having patience with me in the ITXP. Season 12, we're still here. I've been reaching out to people for interviews. Some ghost me, some just have challenges at work. I get it. I keep trying. And I think with this leadership series, I'm going to bring that energy into the ITXP as well, because leadership is a natural evolution for most careers. You can be a great individual contributor for a long time. Most of us probably should be individual contributors for a long time. Some of us get into leadership as a fluke, just being at the right place and the right time. And some of us are leaders who shouldn't be leaders, because not everyone can do that job. So thanks for listening. This is Chuck, and I'll talk to you later.